What's up, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I'm so happy that it is Wednesday already. I feel like this week is going by pretty fast, and it's so strange because I don't know. I feel like the most recent major thing that happened to me obviously was being diagnosed with corona a few weeks back, and ever since then obviously I wasn't working, so my schedule has been very strange. So my days were all running together. Weekends didn't feel like weekends, but this weekend is definitely going to feel like a weekend because I've been very hard at work since this week was my first week going back to work. So very, very happy to be at Wednesday and to be halfway through the week. Yesterday, I will say, yesterday was my first day going back to the gym, or going back to the facility that I work out at. And when I'm telling you guys, I almost died. So I definitely need to get my life together, and that, obviously not only, getting my workout, getting my physical health back in order, but also like my sleeping schedule, and just doing a lot of things, putting a lot of things in place so that I can give 100% in every area of my life. Obviously not only working out, but just even the Be Blessed video. Like, I feel like I'm being last minute sometimes with preparing for these videos, and today, I'm not going to even lie, in full disclosure, I almost forgot to record and post this video. So I just need to get my schedule back in order because I want to make sure that I'm giving 100% in every area of my life, and I'm not showing up to anything tired or exhausted, or just not not myself. So that was the lesson I learned after almost dying at my workout yesterday. So the lessons learned and everything. But anyway, let's get right into today's video. As always, God is blessing us. He's always going to be blessing us. So on Monday, we talked about a new fruit of the Spirit, which was goodness. And I was saying on Monday how it's going to seem like it's repetitive, since our goal focus for June and July is to be of good spirit. But there are a lot of good nuggets that we can pull out just from this fruit of the Spirit of goodness, that may not necessarily be repetitive from the entire goal focus. And the reason for that is, the reason I say it may be repetitive, because obviously when we're talking about being of good spirit, we're talking about what are the good qualities of our spirit that we want to adopt, and what are the bad qualities of our spirit that we want to get rid of. So when we're looking at the individual fruit of goodness, it's the same thing. So, but instead of looking at it holistically, we're looking at it specifically, what is good in our life and what is bad in our life. So not just our spirit, but just in our life in general, that has the opportunity to taint our spirit. So when we're talking about goodness, I said the definition on Monday, I'll say it again today. Goodness is the quality of being morally good or virtuous, or it's the state of being good. So what is being morally good? It's pretty much setting a standard for ourselves and for our lives. So that's where the morals and the values come into place. And so on Monday, we talked a little bit about setting the standard, but I want to kind of focus on it today, is making sure that we understand, number one, what our standard is and how important it is to stick to that standard. So everyone is going to have everyone may have a different standard that they stick to for certain individual things. But overall, most of our standards should be the same. It shouldn't be that we're identifying standards. And I think I said this on Monday, that sometimes I fell victim to identifying standards for my life. And then when it came time for those standards to be put into practice, I was kind of wavering, which, what in retrospect, those probably weren't standards anyway, because a standard is something that you are supposed to be holding firm to. And that is, once you hold firm to that standard, that's how you really identify whether your life is identified as a good life or a bad life. So a good life, I think a lot of times it's very popularized that a good life means a certain that you've received, that you have achieved a certain like notoriety level, or a certain place in your life. So you got a husband or a wife, you got kids, you got a good credit score, you've reached a certain financial gain, you have the dream job, when in all actuality a good life really isn't defined or characterized by all of those things. Now, you could have a good life and have all of those things, which would be amazing. But if you didn't have all of those things, your life should not be characterized as you having a bad life. So you may go through some situations that don't necessarily, that may not, on the outside looking in, they may not look like they're good, but in all actuality, it may be priming you for the next season in your life. And if that's the case, then by all means, that was a good situation that was a good situation that may have been covered by a bad situation, or is a good outcome that may have been covered by just a bad situation, which I don't know if that made sense. But so yeah, when you're looking at your life holistically, you really have to identify you really have to set a standard. Number one, for your life. What is the standard going to be for your life? Where are your morals going to lie? How do you identify the quality of goodness? And that should honestly be not only the fruit of the Spirit that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, but also just some other things that may be specific to you. For example, I would characterize, or one of my standards in my good life, and I kind of talked about it earlier too, was being organized and having a certain structure, and not only writing that structure down or identifying that structure, but also staying true to that structure or to that organization. So I'm sure I've talked about it a lot on here, but I have in my head, and I don't know if I've ever written this down actually, but in my head, I know God has given me, and this may sound weird, but I'm just gonna, let it roll. God has given me a specific structure to my day, down to the T. Like, obviously, there's like some wiggle room where I have some time to relax and stuff like that. But from the time that I wake up to the time I go to bed, I know exactly what I should be doing at every moment of the day. However, it's very hard. Well, I won't say it's very hard. Lately, I have not been sticking true to that schedule at all. So when I say that my organization and my structure is going to be one of my standards, and I can, a good life pretty much correlates to whether I'm sticking to my standards, which includes that structure and a couple other things too, like my health and everything like that. If I am off in one of those areas, I feel like I'm not experiencing the goodness that God required, or God wanted me to experience. And that's really the main thing, is if it is if the standard is God-given, which all of your standards should be God-given. Let me just start there. All of your standards should be God-given. And if you're not quite sure, you already know what I'm gonna say. Pray about it. But all of your standards should be God-given. If you are not sticking to those God-given standards, then experiencing goodness in your life may seem more difficult than normal. And I've been through terrible situations. Like, the whole COVID situation was an awful situation. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was not something that I was just, happy to receive that diagnosis for. However, even within that diagnosis, I still felt like I had a good life, because for the most part, I was sticking to the standards that God had given me. So that is really what would define a good life for you. Not a certain credit score, not a certain level in society, not a certain level within your job, but a good life is truly identified by sticking to the standards, sticking to your God-given standards, the standards that God specifically told you. If you stick to those 100%, and it really goes back to your purpose, but I won't belabor that point. So, but if you stick to the standards that God has given you, and you are walking in your purpose, and you're being intentional about everything, then you are going to experience the goodness that God has set out for you, which is abundance and joy and peace and love and patience, and really all the other fruit of the Spirit that we're going to talk about, that we've already talked about, and that we're going to talk about for the remaining couple of days in July. But that is the ultimate goal. That is the ultimate, that is an ultimate good life, is making sure that you're sticking to those God-given standards and living out your goodness the way God intended for you to live it out, not just doing, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So that is a good life, okay? And I was gonna be cheesy and put in like the one song, I think it's by Kanye West, "Welcome to the good life, better than the life I live." But I feel like that was a little cheesy, so I didn't do that. But so yeah, that is pretty much the video for today. Is living is a true good life, okay? A true good life. So make sure you understand what your God-given standards are. And again, if you don't know, I suggest you press pause on this video, even though the video is about to end. But when the video ends, or press pause on the video, make sure that you are praying and being intentional about seeking God, so you understand what the standards are for your life. And your standards may look very similar to the standards that He has given me. They may be a little bit different, but again, it's going to be hard for you to experience goodness in your life if you are not sticking to those standards. And also what I want to say too is that doesn't mean that you won't experience good things, okay? Because everyone is going to have good moments in their life that they go through. So you may get married, you may have children, you may reach a certain financial gain. So those are all good things. Those are all great things. But goodness is more so a lifestyle. So when I'm talking about experiencing goodness, I'm not just saying like, oh, I had a good day, and then the rest of my days were bad, or I had good moments, and then the rest of my moments were bad. But a lifestyle full of goodness is, even when I'm going through a sickness, or even if my diagnosis is not the best, I am still in that goodness mindset. I still am experiencing goodness. So I'm looking at the bright side of things. I know that even though my diagnosis may not have been the best diagnosis, I still know that at the end of the day, God is looking out for me, and everything is going to be for His glory and my good. And that's actually scripture, and I apologize that I don't have that verse, but maybe I'll link it below. I'll have to look it up and link it below. So yeah, so I'm not just talking about good moments, I'm talking about a lifestyle of goodness, okay? Because that's where we're supposed to live. It's just in goodness. But so yeah, that is our video for today. I hope everyone has a great rest of their Wednesday, a fabulous Thursday, and I'll talk to you guys again on Friday.